Operationally, we are all hands on deck.
We are 1 week out from the World Cup here in the West. Host cities working on final preparations to welcome soccer fans from all around the world. We are getting close. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. The first World Cup match here in the West will be 1 week from today at Los Angeles Stadium. And of course, tonight, excitement is building as local leaders across the West are fine-tuning plans to get fans to and from those matches and keep the event safe. We begin our coverage tonight in the Bay Area with KTVU's Jesse Gary.
With time speeding toward a Bay Area date on the global football stage, officials gathering Friday in person and virtually to reassure the public California is ready.
Operationally, we are all hands on deck.
Caltrans director says 800 people poised to work 10-hour shifts to make sure the roads leading to match venues in LA and Santa Clara counties are clear and can handle increased traffic flow. Officials say the symphony of agencies and equipment will work seamlessly, combining assets from the local, state, and federal levels. The Bay Area has already smoothed out bumps in the carpet earlier in the year when hosting Super Bowl 60 and March Madness games.
The Super Bowl gave us one incredible week. World Cup is going to give us over a month. It's a summer-long celebration.
So rather than starting from scratch, we're building upon a framework that has already been tested and proven.
The work's been done, the foundation's been laid, and we're ready. We're ready to host some historic games.
Officials say hundreds of thousands of people from across the globe are beginning to arrive in the Bay Area for the 5 scheduled World Cup matches plus 1 knockout stage match.
It has been 28 years since Austria played in a Football World Cup last, so this is big and exciting. We are looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it.
Officials stress attendees to either match or fan zones should rely on public transit, VTA in the South Bay, and BART, Muni, AC Transit, Samtrans, and Marin Transit. The Swiss consul says public transit is a second way of life back at his home.
Public transport is not just how we travel. It is part of who we are. It's part of our culture.
Officials hope over the next month, ridership on the various forms of public transit will reflect the fun, fans, and spectacle that is the world's game played in a region ready and equipped.
VTA has been preparing for the World Cup for over 2 years, and our goal is to actually make transit the easiest way to get to and from the matches.
VTA officials say they'll have extra trains and staff, and that those trains will leave 10 to 20 minutes as late as 2 hours after the matches end. They say no one will be stranded. Everyone will get a ride home if they take VTA here to the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. In Santa Clara, Jesse Gary, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And today, Seattle's mayor announced the city will be activating closed-circuit cameras near the stadium due to security threats ahead of the World Cup. Mayor Katie Wilson says her decision comes after she received a security briefing earlier this week from the Seattle Police Department and the FBI. The mayor says the briefing identified general but credible threats to safety and security during the tournament. While the mayor says the threats are not unexpected for an event of this size, law enforcement agencies will operate at a heightened level of risk.
We have gone ahead and installed the cameras in the stadium district in recognition that this major global event is happening, so that if there is a credible threat, we can turn those cameras on.
The mayor's decision to turn those cameras on comes after critics called out the mayor for opting against activating new cameras in the stadium district. Mayor Wilson says that decision was made over concerns about privacy. And just in time for the start of World Cup matches, Amazon unveiled this Whale Tail Selfless Station in Seattle today. The name is a play on a selfie station, but since the installations give back to nonprofits, they're called Selfless Stations. It's at Amazon's Day One Play Field. The Whale Tail is a partnership with the Gage Academy of Art designed to celebrate the Pacific Northwest culture, serve as a photo op for locals, and of course, visiting soccer fans and spotlight local nonprofits and community organizations. And the Space Needle underwent a bit of a transformation ahead of the tournament. It is painted as a giant soccer ball at the top. Seattle, of course, hosting 6 matches in the World Cup, 4 group stage matches, as well as 2 knockout matches. And that does include the U.S. taking on Australia on Friday, June 19th. And speaking of Team Australia, they have been training in the Bay Area at a facility the Oakland Roots Soccer Club calls home. Fans are coming from all over the region to welcome the Australian national team, and the Roots say they get to learn from the world-class players.
A lot of them stayed and watched the training session as well. I think they were all very curious. I think our coach has been learning different things here and there too that he wants to take away and maybe bring back to us as well from their staff and their team and how they go about a week-to-week plan. So I think there's a lot that's going to be taken away from learning from this experience from us, but also just enjoying it.
The Oakland Roots say they hope Australia becomes the East Bay's adopted international team, and they have collaborated with local businesses to offer themed food and community events to promote camaraderie with the Australian team. Well, the U.S. men's national team is preparing to play its final friendly match before the World Cup begins next week. They'll be taking on Germany in the Coca-Cola send-off match tomorrow at Chicago's Soldier Field. That game officially is sold out. One of the stars of the team, center back Chris Richards, won't be able to play this weekend because of an ankle injury he suffered last month. Head coach Mauricio Pochettino says Richards is progressing well, though.
The next few days to assess him and see his ankle, how his evolution, and then to make a decision. But I think at the moment, he's still doing his recovery.
Team USA will have less than a week of turnaround time before they take on Paraguay in their first World Cup match next Friday. And again, that is happening at SoFi Stadium near Los Angeles. We have a major update tonight in the race for California governor. Take a look at the latest results in the Associated Press tonight is projecting that Democrat Javier Becerra will advance to the November general election. The AP has not yet made any projections as to which candidate will face off against Becerra. You can see the numbers here. Republican Steve Hilton standing there with 26% support, and Democrat Tom Steyer with 21% of the vote here, but they are still vying for that second spot in the November general election. As officials continue to count the ballots in California, tonight federal prosecutors are confirming they have launched an investigation into the state's election process. A member of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles was spotted today at a vote counting center in L.A. County alongside a member of California Attorney General Rob Bonta's office. Now, this all comes one day after President Trump claimed without evidence that there's fraud with California's drawn-out vote count. The Secretary of State's office, which has until July 10th to certify the results of the election, says the state is prioritizing accuracy over speed. California allows ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by the election day and they arrive within 7 days.
As we know, Democrats were holding on to their ballots. And so that means that as more and more of the ballots are counted, the Democrats are the candidates who are going to see their vote counts increasing and Republicans are going to see their vote counts decreasing. That's not fraud. That's just counting.
Steve Hilton is calling on California Governor Gavin Newsom to deploy all available state employees to counties that are facing significant ballot processing delays. The Republican frontrunner in the governor's race says California is, quote, the laughingstock of the nation when it comes to elections. Becerra and Steyer have both defended the process and called for patience from the public. All right, now to the closely watched race for mayor of Los Angeles, and the gap tonight is narrowing between former TV personality Spencer Pratt and City Councilwoman Nithya Raman as they both vie for that remaining spot in the November general election. Raman is now less than 30,000 votes behind Pratt, and there are an estimated 250,000 ballots left to be counted in L.A. County. One of those two candidates will be moving on to face incumbent L.A. Mayor Karen Bass in the November election. All right, now we turn to Northern California, where the community continues to mourn the teenager who was killed in a shooting outside a high school graduation ceremony earlier this week. The 18-year-old student was still in his cap and gown when he was killed on Wednesday, shot in a parking lot at Fairfield High School, where a continuation school was holding its graduation ceremony. 3 other people were injured by the gunfire, including an 11-year-old. All those victims are expected to survive their injuries. We've learned the youngest person injured in this shooting, that 11-year-old, was the sister of the young man who died.
This is a family member of my wife, and so it hit home for us. Our church family has rallied around. The faith-based community has rallied around.
Fairfield police say they had extra patrols at tonight's graduation ceremony. Police say they were not at the graduation ceremony on Wednesday night because they did not receive the Fairfield Unified School District's request for security through the proper channels. Officials tonight are now asking for the public's help to share any cell phone videos they may have or security camera footage, and they're looking for tips as they try to track down the people responsible for that shooting. Police say the shooting does appear to have been targeted, but they are unsure tonight of the exact motive. Tonight, police in Los Angeles have made an arrest in connection with the stabbing death of a Hollywood actor. James Handy appeared in a number of films, including Top Gun Maverick and Jumanji. The 81-year-old was found dead Wednesday outside a home in the Tarzana neighborhood. Police have arrested 44-year-old Michael Gledhill for the killing. He is the son of Handy's girlfriend. Police say Gledhill made the 911 call himself and told dispatchers he was the person they were looking for. We have learned from TMZ the attack happened at the home of the suspect's mother, and she confirmed her son was diagnosed with schizophrenia last month and recently stopped taking his medication. One neighbor says he remembers meeting the suspect.
He came to my door, first time I had ever met him. He came to my door and confronted me as if we had already been having a conversation about video cameras that I have set up. So he was being kind of paranoid about the video cameras and began talking to me as if, we had already been having a conversation. And it was clear that he had sort of invented that in his head.
Handy was also known for roles in Arachnophobia, as well as some top TV crime dramas. We spoke earlier with TMZ's Charles Latiboutiere about his long career.
He's a character actor and has been a very accomplished one. And so that's why he has that face where people go like, I know him from something. But, while he was not a leading man, he's been doing it long enough that people certainly recognize his face. And certainly this is a big loss in Hollywood.
The suspect was living with his mother at the time of the stabbing, and tonight he's being held on $2 million bond. Up next here on West Coast Wrap tonight, a police pursuit and a shooting on a freeway in Southern California leads to hours-long delays for drivers during the heart of the morning commute. What we know about what led up to the gunfire there.
And we are checking for a stretch of hot weather for parts of the Midwest into, believe it or not, California, with chances of rain as well. I've got details for you coming up in just a moment.
When your home feels clean and happy,
In Washington, police have arrested one person as part of a human trafficking investigation that's centered on a rental property in Bellevue that's been labeled the OnlyFans house. As Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling explains tonight, authorities raided that property after getting complaints from neighbors about underage drinking and assaults.
I've seen with my own eyes underage drinking and drug use and just huge throngs of kids at these parties.
This neighbor who wanted to remain anonymous says parties at this large home in Bellevue have drawn crowds of hundreds of people a night.
They are advertising with sophisticated social media models. They're charging tickets in advance for admission to the parties. So it's open to the public.
She says she was relieved when she heard police drones circling early this morning.
I could hear the loudspeakers asking them to come out with their hands up.
Neighbors like her say they've been calling in complaints to 911 and law enforcement for weeks about the parties.
The renters of this house identified this house as, quote, an OnlyFans house. This is a house that they were using to bring in individuals to perform for OnlyFans, as well as inviting strangers into the home.
Following an investigation, police determined that there was the possibility that human trafficking was happening that included underage kids.
It's not illegal to have a house where you host parties, certainly, but again, what we're talking about is not that. What we're talking about is people that are being coerced into doing things that they don't want to do. And at that point, that becomes human trafficking, and that's where we're going to get involved.
Despite the arrest, neighbors say they're still concerned because of what someone at the home said following the police search.
That they were going to have the biggest party yet on Friday as they walked by us. So we're not done.
I could tell you that if anything is planned at this house, the Bellevue Police Department will be stationing officers outside and will be enforcing the law with zero tolerance.
And that was Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling reporting for us tonight. Now to a major Southern California freeway that was shut down for hours during the morning commute today after a pursuit ended with a police shooting right in the middle of the lanes. This all unfolded overnight along the 405 freeway near LAX. The LAPD says officers shot and killed a robbery suspect following a chase. The pursuit began after police say the suspect assaulted and tried to rob a taxi driver not far away, and that led to the shooting on the freeway.
At that time during the pursuit, the suspect opened fire, presumably towards the officer's directions, and a short time later stopped the vehicle, exited that vehicle in possession of a handgun. The officers gave him direction and commands to drop the handgun, but he refused to comply, and an officer-involved shooting occurred at that time.
The pursuit and the shooting shut down all of the northbound lanes of the freeway, causing rush hour gridlock all throughout the day. Those lanes finally reopened at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. Authorities in Arizona say they have rescued 3 hikers from the Superstition Mountains east of Phoenix. This helicopter rescue happened Wednesday at Lost Dutchman State Park in Pinal County. The sheriff's office says they got a call about a couple with an 11-year-old with them, and they went off the trail. Officials say more than 150 hikers are rescued every year in the Phoenix Desert Preserves, many of them suffering from heat exhaustion.
If you know you're going to be out there, start early, bring plenty of water, start the night before drinking your water, staying hydrated, because if you start feeling the effects of dizziness or thirst, things like that, it's already too late. You can't catch up to it. You need to turn around and come back early.
First responders are urging hikers to carry plenty of water with them and, of course, wear the right gear and know their limits before heading out on any of those trails. Certainly good advice there. Let's stay in Arizona. We'll give you a live look here at downtown Phoenix and a beautiful shot here. They're wrapping up what was another warm day in the Valley of the Sun, but they are going to be seeing some cooler conditions here in Arizona and across many parts of the West. Let's bring KTVU's Brian Gallo into the picture to talk about what to expect for the weekend.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
I do want to include folks at home. This might seem obvious, but, avoid hiking. If it's triple-digit weather,
I know.
Hang out at home.
It really is. It really makes the most sense.
It does make the most sense, and just be safe. Heat-related illness is the #1 cause of death when it comes to, weather. So just keep this in mind. All right, folks, that's my rant. Back to work we go. Got this beautiful shot as far as the Pacific is concerned and moisture. And half of what we do, I talk about this often, is moisture tracking. So as you can see, areas as far as California is concerned, we're getting a nice needed break. High pressure just rolled in earlier this week, stuck around, cleared things out, slowed things down, obviously brought some numbers up. But let's go ahead and head over to Arizona. We were just talking about that. Again, you can see parts of New Mexico, even as far as Arizona is concerned, some moisture that is really hanging out as far as east of Phoenix. But the focus is all of this tropical moisture, as you can see, that continues to just bombard areas as far as Texas and east of. So when we look at this, we're looking at the intensity of these systems, and you can see it. Potential for heavy downpour, flash flood warnings. For us, we are sitting pretty. Let's get a little closer to home as far as the Southwest is concerned and focus on Southern California. And you can see a little bit of marine layer hugging the coast here, but for the most part, things are going to stay on the quiet side. Here's some numbers for you. As far as right now, we're still holding on to triple digits, and you can see summer is arriving a bit early for a lot of us. But changes do begin tomorrow for most of us as far as the western seaboard is concerned, Four Corners, as well as areas east of us. We're going to see numbers come down, and it's going to be quite comfortable. We're talking 10 to 20 degree drop depending on where you are. These are your highs today. We just talked about this, 105. I spent several years living in the Coachella Valley. Just try to hang out at home if you can. Hydrate, kick it with the dog, watch us, Netflix. But there's no need for folks to be out hiking around in those conditions. It only takes 10 minutes of direct sun to burn your skin. Yeah, very, very scary conditions, folks. LA saw a beautiful number, 80 degrees today. Again, warm for really all of us. San Francisco balancing out at 66. And as far as this week to come, we are just positioned yet again for nice numbers as far as this low pressure squeezing on in. Also, believe it or not, bringing a shot of rain. Sneaker waves, 8 to 10 foot if you're here regionally. When I say regionally, I'm talking about the San Francisco Bay Area. Seattle, Oxen Bowls, hello, if you're watching, this is for you. 61 was your forecasted high for today. And all in all, not too bad. Here's just a big look as far as the big picture, folks. Just stay hydrated. Prepare for a small shot of rain here in the Bay Area once we move towards midweek next. All right, back to you, buddy.
Brian, thank you. Up next here on West Coast Wrap tonight, Pride celebrations kicking off all across the West. We'll break down some of the events that will be happening this weekend. In-N-Out Burger is further expanding into Oregon, and local officials in one community are preparing for huge crowds. The city of Hillsboro is working with the popular California-based burger chain to develop a traffic management plan for the business. This will create guidelines for when In-N-Out employees need to go out to the line and take orders with the handheld device. This was a required condition for approval of the project. County and state transportation workers are reviewing the plan. An opening date for that In-N-Out location has not yet been announced. Police in Arizona had to help a furry fugitive who was found in a tree. Have a look.
Yeah, you coming?
Quite the scene here. Police in Rancho Sahuarita found this bear up in a tree, and they worked with Arizona Fish and Game officers to safely tranquilize the bear. And then once it was tranquilized, a group of 6 people held that tarp under the tree, so the bear had a soft landing as it fell out of the branches. As you can see, one person who was involved there in the rescue was even knocked down. Police say that bear was safely relocated. San Francisco officially kicked off Pride celebrations in the city today, but the mayor's announcement was briefly interrupted by protesters. While city leaders were raising the rainbow flag at City Hall, some demonstrators voiced their opposition to funding changes for services to help those living with HIV and AIDS. Mayor Daniel Lurie said even in a challenging budget landscape, he is renewing his commitment to the local LGBTQ community. The head of San Francisco's Office of Transgender Initiatives says it's time to recommit to the fight for equality.
We've always known how to fight, and we've always known how to win. So we are in it for the fight. We're here to celebrate, but we're also here to remember that Pride started as a protest.
As the celebration was kicking off at City Hall, about 100 volunteers laid out the outline for the giant pink triangle that has adorned Twin Peaks for more than 3 decades, celebrating Pride Month. And in Washington, city leaders in Burien, south of Seattle, raised the pride flag at City Hall today. It's the 6th consecutive year the city has raised its flag to recognize Pride Month, and it kicks off the city's 10th annual Pride Weekend. The pride flag will fly outside of City Hall all the way through the end of this month. And that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always, and a reminder here before we head out that you can always stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering all across the West by heading to our website. It's westcoastwrap.com. And of course, don't forget to stream all of our shows on your smart TV or your other devices. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is download the free Fox Local app. You can find us there. Have a great night and a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.